Hey, Brandon.
Hi, Tom.
I was gonna send you this funny meme on Twitter, but I guess since we're live, I'll just show it to you.
Oh, you're late. What is the meme? Oh, yeah. You're blocked. Blocked.
What?
Send me something like that I don't understand or read correctly. Blocked.
Wait, why would you block? Oh, baby. We here.
You still blocked.
So I guess I don't know what you say.
You apologize to me and tell me I am your king, and then you unblocked. What does this even mean? Blocked? Blocked. Blocked. Wish I could put you on the trade block. What are you doing? What are you doing? I swear to God, if you tag me in another tweet and I have to look at it, I'm going to double block you. Okay. Apology accepted. Retweet. We back in business to navigate. Steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandin Perna. And this is GPS. And the S stands for soft. What? Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about, folks. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning, because we had some things happen yesterday. Laremy Tunsil once again became the highest paid left tackle, not even using an agent. Lamar Jackson, take notes.
Drugs do pay off, kids. Do them right before you get drafted to the National Football League.
There you go. And then you also had a little trade that one Brandin Perna predicted could be really, really good. And that was Brandin Cooks going, or did you say DeAndre Hopkins? You might have said Hopkins, and I just gave you more credit than.
Yeah, no, I like the credit.
You know what? Because Brandon is such a benevolent god and can never do anything wrong, and honestly just has all the right takes forever and always. No, he said he legitimately predicted, I think that Brandin Cooks is going to get traded to the Dallas Cowboys, which happened yesterday. So,
ooh, I did.
That was brilliant, Brandon. Honestly, I just wish I had half the football mind that you did, because you just know everything.
Sounds like me. Sounds definitely like me, Andrew.
Also, we'll talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson going to the Detroit Lions. And after this was offered a multi-year deal and then wanted to test free agency, did not get as much as he thought he would. And then it's like, well, I'm going to go do a one-year prove-it deal with the Lions, who are improving their secondary pretty darn rapidly, considering that was a weak point of their team.
Yeah, their secondary has gone from probably the worst to average. So that's
at least average.
Sorry, Lions fans.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about what Detroit's doing back there on that back end. I always like to talk about Dan Campbell's back end, and today we get to do it. You know what move does not excite me, Tom?
You tell me, buddy.
And I feel like it's trying to be like hyped up, is Adam Thielen to the Panthers.
Hey, listen. Some of us have sources, and it's really exciting. Okay,
Whoa.
You know, when you get to announce it. So,
like 3 years ago, I'd have been like, "Dang, yeah."
Yeah, no. Now nobody cares. Like, he's probably gonna be their wide receiver one because they don't have any other wide receivers. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, there you go.
What's quieter?
There you go.
The Lamar Jackson front or the Aaron Rodgers front?
Well, it depends what you define as quiet, because if you go on Twitter, it ain't quiet. There's nothing happening with Rodgers and the Jets right now, but it ain't quiet. Last week was the week
Thank you,
of
Garrett.
leverage. I heard the word leverage more often than on the show on the USA Network called Leverage. I heard it so many times because it was like, well, no, the Packers have the leverage. Well, no, the Jets have the leverage. And I made a fun skit, I thought, on Saturday about it, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then, yeah, there's a lot that happened this weekend in the sports realm. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, maybe it's just because I'm not in that sphere, so like I'm not on Ravens Twitter all the time.
Right.
But I've heard nothing, literally nothing. So like I don't know. I don't know when anything could happen. I know that they probably want to get something done relatively soon.
Yeah.
But
you know what's stupid about this whole Lamar Jackson trade thing? It's like
tell me.
When he became available via being tagged, all these teams are out on Lamar Jackson quickly, right?
He is interviewing himself on Instagram.
Oh, is that happening today?
He's going to interview himself.
Yeah,
so.
he's doing a YouTube channel too. Something's happening, but this narrative from reporters started coming out saying that basically other NFL teams don't want to do the work to put a contract together for Lamar, and then basically him not be able to come to their team because the Ravens then match it, which seems like the laziest bullshit answer I've ever heard to explain why you wouldn't make an effort to get a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, NFL teams have people to do this work. It is what they get paid for. But a team's like, no, I'm not going to put together a contract for what could possibly turn our franchise around for the next 5 to 8 years, because then the Ravens might steal my homework and take credit for it.
Here's the thing. Okay. Exactly, KK. Exactly. So, it's still on fire. I figured. So if I was Lamar Jackson, right? So talented, athletic, rich, any one of those things. And right now it's the off season and I have time. I would be the biggest troll. Dude, I would go stand outside Gillette Stadium and take a selfie and just like post it on Twitter and Instagram with no context. And just so like things would explode. I would then go to like outside the Colts Stadium, take another selfie the next day, put it up. You know what I mean? Tour. Like I would just do this because I got nothing but time and money just to set the internet on fire. Because why not? At that point, why not? You're just like, you know what? Let's just go have some fun.
Yeah, or even maybe just be a little more subtle about it, like having a Philly cheesesteak in Philly today. Ooh,
I would just go to the Eagles.
Got some green chili here in Denver, Colorado. Let's cook.
What would you do if like Lamar Jackson just took a selfie outside of Russell Wilson's house? It's just like, let's go. Let's ride.
I needed to poop real bad again, and I knew this man had ample bathrooms for me.
Ample bathroom space. Ample.
See, now that makes sense to me. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, you want to talk about Laremy Tunsil first?
Hell yeah.
So this was like the big story yesterday, and I kept seeing the comment like his 30 for 30 is going to be insane. And it truly is that he has like changed the trajectory of multiple franchises.
Yeah.
And like his story is just truly insane. Like gone from wearing a gas mask bong to dropping down to what it was 13, where the Dolphins pick him. They flip him, which widens turning up into like some insane picks. And now he's the highest paid tackle again. And the thing is, too, someone mentioned, I think it was a player who was it Parsons, maybe? I don't remember. But he was like, the way that he's doing it is genius because he's just taking these 3-year deals.
Yeah.
He's not taking anything longer. So every single time he's taking these 3-year deals, he's going to be at the top of the market again when his contract expires. And I think he's only going to be like 30 or 31 the next time that 3-year deal is done. So he's going to be able to cash in on a 4th deal. Yeah. Because that's the big, like, look at a Patrick Mahomes right now. Patrick Mahomes' deal is looking like a home run. right? But they locked him up for like a 10-year deal. Like, it's insane. But the thing is, if Patrick Mahomes was like supposed to be a free agent every like 3 years, that dude would be making even more money. Like, he would be making more money guaranteed because, as we all know, except for COVID, the market like resets itself, especially when it comes to like QBs or tackles or edge rushers, etc. So, Tunsil's definitely doing it the right way, and he's going to be able to get a 4th contract, with a lot of tackles don't get. It's usually just 3.
Yeah,
so,
if they're lucky. Like,
yeah,
that's the upper echelon. And I saw, I think it was Mitchell Schwartz, former NFL tackle. Yeah, it was Mitchell Schwartz tweeted exactly what you're just like saying about Tunsil's contract. Mitchell said, "This is how you do it, players. Sign 3-year deals and don't push for fully guaranteed contracts. Drive up the average annual value. Keep the contract short and cash in, every 2 to 3 years," which works if you're consistently healthy.
correct.
And also, I think that only works for premier type positions, right?
Yes, like left tackle, edge rusher, corner, maybe, definitely quarterback. I think that'd be the only 4, though, right?
Yeah, it would be
maybe middle linebacker, like maybe.
See, I was just gonna say linebacker would be tricky, because I feel like teams, their linebackers like running back, where I feel like teams think they can move on from a guy and replace, the production via the draft.
Wide receiver, I think it depends on like how good you are. If you're a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like upper echelon wide receiver, Devontae Adams, then yes. But to like what Perna's saying, you're basically betting on yourself, right? Because why people want longer contracts and guaranteed money is because they're like, this might be my last contract. But if you are if you're consistent and you're healthy, then you could potentially cash in.
Yeah, and the wide receiver market, I think, is probably the most volatile, if I can borrow from the stock market, because just last offseason, wide receivers were fetching multiple draft picks, 1st-round draft picks. You know what I mean? Like, after Amari Cooper was dealt for a 5th, then teams were like, okay, let's start giving away the farm to get Devontae, to get Tyreek. But those are premier guys still in their prime. But even like the value for DeAndre Hopkins, who, yes, he's older, but he's still producing, it's way down just from a year ago in terms of the trade market. Brandin Cooks got a 5th and a 6th, and I think that's a great deal for the Cowboys. So
I agree.
And I don't think that's just true for receivers. I think it's true. The NFL like goes through these cycles where it just, something's valued, and then the game kind of evolves and changes a bit, and then there's premium on different positions. It's just like, it's also like it's tied to the draft too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were just on Friday, we were looking through available free agents. Long show. We're like, dang, there's a lot of edge rushers here, but there's a lot of edge rushers in this draft. You would think the wide receiver market might be a little bit hotter, free agency trade wise, because there's not the top flight wide receivers in this draft.
But there's some good ones. Like, they're just like solid. Like, you're going to get them on like day 2.
But anyway,
I completely agree with that. I think, again, Tunsil's doing it. He's done it the right way. And for a guy who had such a weird start to his NFL career, like, he's just turned into bank. And so did the Dolphins. I mean, they turned it into having, stud players. So, and I mean, the Texans get to have their franchise left tackle still.
That's right. So one, we don't give them credit because they've just been so, pardon my French, fucking dumb. But the Texans, it's a good move to keep Laremy Tunsil. It's a good move.
It's like with all due respect.
With all due respect, I'm about to drop the F-bomb. What was I going to say? Because I did a Jalen Carter video last week. And like, I was talking about how the NFL has used, how teams have tried and successfully attached character concern to a player before the draft to get his draft stock to fall, right? Yeah. Like, it's been a thing where you learn later there weren't any issues, but teams were trying to be able to draft a guy maybe later than they should have.
Which is why there's that huge disconnect between what we hear in the media in terms of like sports media and how teams actually like what they value. Because like just a really quick example, like George Pickens, right? So looks like he's going to be a stud wide receiver. Looked like I thought he was going to be great regardless, but like there was like character issues. Goes to the Steelers because Mike Tomlin's just like, I'll cut off your eyelids. I got no problem with that. I dealt with Antonio Brown all those years. But like you could have a team like the Packers who usually like stay very far away from any player that have like character issues. But there's some teams that go like, yeah, screw it. Like, we don't care.
Yeah. So like the point I wanted to make was Tunsil was the victim of maybe one of the all-time most egregious sabotages on draft day, because I believe it was a family member that leaked or sent out the video of him hitting the bong through the gas mask, and that dropped on draft day.
Yeah.
Right. That was that morning. All of a sudden, there's this video of Laremy Tunsil smoking a bong through a gas mask. And everybody's like, oh my God. Because he was going to be like a top 5 pick, top 3 pick. And then he fell to 13 to the Dolphins.
Someone was saying that originally, like he was going to go number 1 to the Titans that year.
Possibly 1.
Yeah. Justin! Boop!
The
Lions feel like they're either prepping for a run next year or going on a run. Interesting, because at 6 they could trade down, get best player available, develop a QB. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, they could go after a QB just to get somebody to sit behind Jared Goff. But no, I have the Lions. They're my favorite to win the North.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Lions in a minute, Justin. I got some thoughts on Detroit Rocks.
Don't blink. If you're a blinker, cut your eyelids off.
We need to have Johnny alter that clip and use the penis line from Get Your Hands Off My Penis. So Mike Tomlin says, blink, and I'll cut your penis off. That's the clip I want.
It's like the Doctor Who, like the angels, you can't blink. And if you blink, they'll kill you. Mike Tomlin will chop your wiener off if you blink.
Here's a question.
Continue.
If that bong video, like if it came out for a player in this draft, I think the repercussions for it would be much less severe.
100% agree.
When was Tunsil drafted by the Dolphins? What year was that? 2016. Okay. So 7 years later, and the NFL stance on the weed has softened quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So I don't
because they're not testing for it anymore. Like they don't really care.
Yeah, it was, in 2016, according to the NFL, weed was worse than domestic violence still in their eyes.
Honestly, to the NFL, yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing for a while. Yeah, that honestly, it's not even a joke. That was a thing.
No, it was
because that was the constant dude, like really, like you're being upset about pot that like people are using for like pain management or whatever, but like someone beats the crap out of their significant other and it's like 3 games.
3 games. Oh, you want to manage your pain with something that's not going to damage the organs in your body?
Oh my God.
Have fun not making money, a-hole.
Yeah.
That was the NFL.
It was a wild time.
NFL was still watching videos produced in like the 60s about
by Dare. Like a Dare officer would come in every year to talk to the league office. They're like, let's talk about the devil's lettuce. You know why they call it that? Because it's the devil.
That jazz cabbage gonna send you straight to Satan's arms.
Roger Goodell's like, oh no.
You want to unwind after a hard football game? Have a Bud Light. Here, actually have 10 of them.
Yep.
That's a lot safer than that devil's lettuce.
Thank God we dodged the bullet on that one.
Right. That's what the video was titled. Reefer
that was
Madness.
Scary. Could have been bad. Anyway, so you said you want to talk about the Lions, or you want to talk about Brandin Cooks first?
I don't care.
Okay.
Let's talk about Brandin Cooks playing for the Lions. Let's get wild.
That's not what. Okay. All right. See, I think. Well, that's the thing. If we're gonna have a steroid league, that's really where the USFL should pivot, because like they're not getting a lot of press. just like have an NFL blitz league. You could drop kick, you can clothesline, and you could take any steroids you want. Now you
more injuries, more roids, more problems, more entertainment. This is the USFL.
That's it.
Oh, I think we broke the Carson Strong to the USFL news. I think Ben Kurt broke that here on Friday's GPS, Tom.
I mean, yeah, it happens. You know, we do that all the time. You know,
are we insiders?
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we? Are we insiders? No, we're not.
16.
Wait.
You got banned?
Yeah, I always get banned. What? Oh.
Ooh, yeah. The Nudge. The Dragons. Working on that recap, so random guy.
Nudge.
Alexander, baby.
By the way, speaking of free agents, has Jess re-signed with the Perna team yet?
She back. We worked out a contract extension.
Okay, good. What's the way of the terms?
It is a 3-year deal.
3-year deal. Okay, got it. Yeah, low risk.
And I just had to offer my soul.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's been gone for quite some time. So
and there's Simpsons where Bart sold his soul and like he has to get it back.
Yes. All right. Well, good. I'm glad to see that the team has come back together. But I love this for the Cowboys. Brandin Cooks has now been traded like 18,000 times. But he's been wanting to get out of Houston for a while because the Packers wanted him for a while, and he still like is good. He puts up good production. He's kind of been like a bright spot in their wide receiver core.
And he's like 29 still. It's not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
Brandin Cooks was like, this is my contract with the Texans. Oh, shit. Actually, I don't want to be here anymore, guys.
That's pretty accurate.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, like literally he just like signed like the last initial of his last name and is like, if I don't pick up the pen, it doesn't count, right?
Yeah. He dotted the S on Cooks, and then Deshaun Watson was like, I want to be traded. And he's like, what? Dude.
It's true. It's true. That's what they say.
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys needed another weapon at receiver, obviously, next to CeeDee Lamb, and they got it. And they got it for good value, like a 5th and a 6th for Cooks, for a player that should immediately make their passing game a lot more dynamic, much more of a threat. They don't have the albatross that is Zeke's contract, although they still got to pay probably a good amount of dead money. Amari Cooper was traded, so Zeke Elliott could be cut for no reason. Man, did they mismanage that whole trio.
Well, Dalton Schultz is still a free agent, yeah?
Yeah.
Even though the franchise tagged him last year, couldn't get a deal done with him. But like no one's like rushing to sign him because Gesicki got signed by the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Gesicki's been unhappy with the Dolphins for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's been rumored that he was going to get out of there for a while.
Yeah. And then Mike McDaniel came in and their offense was great, but he just wasn't a part of it, really.
He wasn't part of it. Yeah. No, that's it. The tight end market is very, I think it's, well, especially we talked to EJ about this. Look at the tight end market for this draft. It's like, it's deep. So you could get a stud day 1, day 2, like, you can rock and roll. So I think that they're gonna be okay. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions because I do want to talk about them.
Detroit.
There's no top guys, but there's some depth. There's some good wide receivers. Yeah, there's some good ones. Get it done day 2. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. So they got CJ Gardner-Johnson. We talked about how their secondary went from god awful to at least average now, which is solid. CJ Gardner-Johnson, a 1-year prove it deal, was at $8 million, something like that.
Yeah.
But they lost Jamal Williams, so they're cursed forever. That's my analysis.
They could have signed
Dave Montgomery, but they're cursed forever.
He was their best touchdown scorer since Barry Sanders. And Barry Sanders retired early because Detroit was such a mess. And the first guy they get back to score as many touchdowns is him. They can't offer him a couple extra mil to keep him in town. We all want Detroit to succeed, but ooh, that was a gaffe. And Jamal Williams basically said in his press conference with the Saints, I think he said the Lions contract was, I felt a little disrespectful, something like that. Paraphrasing.
Yes. Correct.
And then he had a great answer about eating crawfish, right?
The quote's a little bit longer, and then he talks about how the Lions are the worst run organization in the history of mankind, only second to the Minnesota Vikings.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
He said he loved the Packers and the way they were run.
Loved the Packers. Never felt any disrespect from the Packers.
Said Goody's a lot smarter than Joe Douglas in some ways.
A lot smarter, like head and shoulders above. And then he was like, Joe Douglas doesn't use head and shoulders because he's bald.
Yeah. And I don't want to eat a crawfish above the head and shoulders area.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. So the Lions set the bar pretty low in their secondary. I don't know what his off field. I don't know what any
Gardner-Johnson. He chirps. He just
talks. I think that's kind of what, like, trying to read why he only got a 1-year deal is a little perplexing. And I think like his agency's kind of getting dragged right now because they miscalculated what his value would be. And I don't know why that is. But he's a very solid football player. And he's just at a position that teams don't want to overpay for. It's a safety / nickelback type player. Look at this photograph.
Oh my God, we are so here.
It's not even funny. Oh,
they're not going to go after Lamar. They're not.
Look at his photograph. It's a boy.
Sorry, continue.
This is how you remind me of what I really am. I like you, so sorry. Should have been a beat the party.
This time I'm mistaken. I knew that my heart was breaking and I've been wrong. Sorry.
Okay, you're stuck in hell and you can only listen to one band for the rest of your life. And you get to choose Creed or Nickelback. Who you got?
Oh, you know what? Creed, because the power of Christ will save me then, because they're a Christian rock band. Jesus will hear the sound of Can You Take Me Higher? And he's going to lift me up as I'm like, can you take me higher? That's what's going to happen. So that's easy. I win.
Creed slowly kills Satan.
Right. He's just like, no. Accurate. Wow, we've gone off the rails. It's great.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
CJ Gardner-Johnson was not taken to a higher contract, but Detroit. Okay, it's CJ, GJ, and then they added Cam Sutton, right, and Emmanuel Mosley to their secondary. And Mosley was hurt last year, right? He got hurt after, I don't know, week 5 or 6 for the Niners. And then Sutton, these are both.
They're solid. Like they're
solid. It feels like Detroit's being hyped up as doing like all these really good moves, but it's just they're trying to make something that was really bad,
correct,
serviceable. And I think where Detroit can kind of, I don't know, turn this into a slam dunk is through the draft.
Yes,
because they've got multiple picks in the top 50 or 100 or wherever. So if they hit those, especially on defense, this is a really good corner draft too. So they can improve there. Jeff Okudah played better last year, but maybe as that whole unit gets better, he takes another step forward as he can hopefully stay healthy.
Okudah Matata.
They were terrible again. They were terrible against the pass and against the run. They're bringing back Anzalone, So I think linebacker's another position for them where they still need to get better, specifically against the run. So what's so funny?
I just thought of Anal Zone.
Yeah, I really struggled to not say it.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I really
struggled not to say it.
Honestly, we should do GPS karaoke. We would crush.
But so between this and the draft, I think Detroit can get there on defense.
So here's the thing too, like their D line is already solid. Of course, their offensive line is already great. Because then you'll have people who already say too, like the offensive line was really the star last year. That's why Jamal Williams was able to score as much as he did, which again, I think Jamal Williams did great. But at the same time, like if Aiden Hutchinson can get even better than his rookie campaign, if they can get, maybe like one more elite guy, which they can at the spot that they're in, because they could trade down, they go after QB, but they're probably still going to go defense. There's a lot of different ways, but I feel like if their pass rush gets better, their terrible secondary, which now should be at least average, they're going to look like a much better unit on defense just by law of averages.
Yeah, and I think maybe like the X factor on their defense is James Houston, who kind of came into the mix midway through the season, and they're like, okay, James, go out there and play one snap. And he's like, fine, sack. I'm like, okay. Next week, 2 snaps. He's like, okay, sack. Like his snap to sack ratio was like, it was insane, but it was very limited. But like he's a guy opposite Hutchinson. Like if he's as good as he looked early, then they've got their 2 edge dudes. It's just about beefing the interior, stopping the run. And if they're better against the run and those 2 edge guys are as good as they look, then your secondary can be just solid.
Yeah.
Because if that front is getting after quarterbacks, the quarterbacks are going to make more mistakes, and your secondary is going to eat because of it.
Like the 49ers, like their secondary wasn't godly, but their D-line was insane. It's going to be even better this year. So they'd be like, we could take some losses in the secondary.
Yeah.
So they're going to be just fine.
Like
but again, talking about the Eagles too, like they re-signed a bunch of guys. It's just that they have the number 10 draft pick. They can go defense too and kind of just get a little bit younger there and, hopefully go after like a really good prospect. And I think the lack of competition in the NFC, the Eagles should be back in the Super Bowl hunt. So honestly, like no joke, their really old stuff, like their first stuff was like not bad. I know that they're like a running joke now, but like,
yeah,
how you remind me, like that's a banger song.
Good for you.
What happened?
I said, if you like crap rock, they're not bad.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, they're just a band of a certain time,
They are, yes. And then they became like very generic, like blah, 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 blah. But yeah. First album was pretty good. Like it wasn't bad. Like I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm going to throw on some Nickelback right now. But if I have some vitamins or am drunk enough, I might be like, I'm going to put some Nickelback on right now for one song and then I'm done. Ow. So Breaking Benjamin,
start to finish and get lost in this masterpiece.
Breaking Benjamin is so great. And they came back after that hiatus and were still great. Sorry, I like Breaking Benjamin. That's actually the loudest concert I've ever been to. I had a headache for 3 days.
Breaking your eardrums.
Oh, no, it 100% did. It was like a small venue and they like just turned it up to 11.
No, it goes to 11 now.
Yeah, that's what it was great. That was great. Tua, 5th-year option exercise today. No shocker there because they announced this a few weeks ago that they were going to do this. But I feel like we said this last offseason. Okay, it's Tua's year. It's time to find out if he's the guy or not because you have Mike McDaniel, you got Tyreek Hill, you have all these weapons. And then he got hurt, but there was a time where like he looked like, damn, like Tua's really damn good. Like he is that guy. Accurate.
He just got to prove he can stay healthy.
That's now. I don't think it's an ability of play anymore that he has to prove. He has to just prove that he can remain healthy.
I think Tua, basically for the rest of his career, it's always going to be something he has to prove that season. Like he's going to be good, but there's just going to be this one thing. Like, now we got to do this. Now we got to evaluate him this way. Now it's this thing. It just feels like he's going to have that unlucky sort of streak.
Yeah, I get you. I think that there's already a lot of Tua hate. Like there's a lot. but I feel like it's now just shifted between like, can't play to more like can't stay healthy. And I know that injury concerns were there before he got drafted. Right? That was already a concern. So,
I know what it's going to be next year for Tua.
tell me.
He's going to play well, but the Dolphins are going to lose in the playoffs. And a key player that helps beat the Dolphins in the postseason is going to be the guy drafted right after where their draft pick that they got forfeited by the NFL is. So it'd be like, if they had that pick, they would have had that guy on his team. But Tom Brady and Sean Payton tampered with Miami. They got punished. Tua paid the price yet again. Well, Tom Brady still screwing the AFC East, even though he's been retired for a year.
So, but here's the actual. So we talk about like Joe Burrow and stuff like that, and like these guys who are going to get these major contracts. Like, because I imagine like a Justin Herbert contract is like going to be coming up relatively soon, like maybe this offseason if they decide to work out a deal. But Tua, I can see waiting. I can see them picking up his 5th-year option and then waiting if they extend it, because if he gets another concussion this year, I think there's going to be a start to like have a legitimate conversation of like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
it's not the case.
It's like, as a team, you're almost trying to act in Tua's best interest because head injuries are so messed up. This is incorrect, Kevin. It's because if you listen to Nickelback, sure, it's a little catchy. You hear it a couple more times, the catchiness turns into annoying.
Are you talking about like everything after like their second album? Because like the first one was actually kind of rock, and then it just became like, what's this stupid rock star? Oh my god, that song's one of the worst songs I heard. Hey, you want to be a rock star? They should, that stupid song. Friends
Probably
like, no.
If I heard it.
I just listen to Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and
I don't listen. I'm not a Van Halen
head. Listen to Led Zeppelin, the greatest band.
Don't you dare put Van Halen and Led Zeppelin in the same
I listen
breath.
to Led Zeppelin while I'm on a Zeppelin eating a Zeppelin.
80s rock bullshit with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Oh no.
Blocked again. Blocked.
Blocked. Done.
You listen to Wet Leg, Tom?
Do I listen to what?
Wet Leg?
Wet leg?
Wet Leg.
Like your leg is wet.
Yep.
Because you peed on. I have not heard Wet Leg.
Oh, you gotta give them a listen. Give Wet
What kind
Leg
of band
a
are
listen.
they?
What kind of band?
Yeah, like what kind of group are they? Like rock? Or
Awesome. It's like
didn't help. That didn't help.
2 women, and definitely got like this classic rock type sound, and then their songs are both good and kind of hilarious at the same time.
Okay,
it's like a combo. I usually like. I don't like humor and a good song. It's kind of like sometimes it's kind of funny, but it doesn't feel like it's actually a good song. It feels like it's more funny than good. But their shit is funny and good. So
like Bo Burnham?
Yeah, sure. The Bo Burnham of music.
Do you not listen to Bo Burnham, Brandon?
No.
Have you listened to Bo Burnham?
No. I mean, I'm familiar with his work as a comedian.
No, they're probably not going to. I mean, the Bills probably not going to. Bo Burnham is amazing. Okay. Sabotage is good. Yeah. All right, one of these days, we're just going to sit and just list our favorite bands and see where there's... I mean, you and I both like Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
There we are.
There's a compromise that's there. They're also like very... I feel like they're unique.
RKS?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a weird genre to me.
They have a very unique sound. Honestly, that's a great... No, not that one. That's a great punishment because it's just so good. It's on Netflix.
Is that his special that he did?
That's the latest one, where he just did it by himself.
Yeah.
I'm Boyo. Listen, it's good. It's good stuff, Brandon. It's good.
Garrett, multiple donos, first time.
White woman's Instagram.
Oh. Anyway,
White
listen to Wet Leg
woman.
today, Tom. I think you will be
I'll listen to Wet Leg.
pleasantly surprised.
Okay, I'll listen to Wet Leg. I'll do it. Listen, the Patriots, they're going to make a move at some point. DeAndre Hopkins makes sense. Lamar Jackson makes a lot of sense to me, but I don't know if they'll actually go for it. But just saying. Oh, there you go, Brandon. There you go.
Oh!
Thank
you, Matthew.
I know.
Oh, man, I need a Zeppelin clip, don't I?
Just play the Hindenburg.
Play that clip. You know what Led Zeppelin actually does?
You tell.
I really enjoy making love to your ears. I think that you have beautiful ears. They fit very nicely. So I would say it'd be an erotic.
If something could fornicate your ears, it is Led Zeppelin. Oh, yeah. Wolf Mother was nice.
Perna's actually commented on it because I was listening to Vanguard and I put it on my Instagram story years ago. And like Brandon was this is before we did GPS. He's like, great album. Perna and I did not talk every day. And he was just like, great album.
Yeah, they were on one of the Guitar Heroes or rock bands as well. And I was like, yes.
Well, they the reason I learned of that specific song, oh my god, Buccaneers Let's Bake. Oh god. Baker Mayfield. Oh god, let's bake. So he just said
let's bake. It's me, a Baker Mayfield. I like to make it a turnover for you. He's like he's also Italian now.
Chris Pratt's Mario.
Yeah. Hey, that's nice.
Iron Maiden is great.
Luigi, get your hands off of my butt. Luigi's always sexually harassing.
Anyway, I know of that Wolf Mother song because of 500 Days of Summer, which I really love that movie. Because it plays at the end when Tom, the architect, is like kind of getting back into his thing of like being an architect.
Yeah.
You know, that thing.
Let's bake. Did he really just tweet that?
What?
Baker
Oh, no, the Ian Rappaport, I think, or Tom Pelissero just like said like let's bake because hold on.
I got it.
Because they think the bucket, yeah. Just sign a contract.
Oh, so the contract's now official?
Yep.
You know what I'm really kind of over is the announcing of the news and then when it becomes official. I don't care when it becomes official. I don't.
It's the Buccaneers. It's the Greta Van Fleet. There you go.
Oh, that's my second favorite band right now.
Ever?
Well, I got Zepp, I got Gret, and I got the White Stripes.
Yo, Dylan is he's in a Van Halen cover band.
Wow. All right.
Van Zeppelin. He plays it out of a van, Brandon. It's out of a van.
It should be Greta Van Zeppelin, and you guys need to add Greta Van Fleet songs in there.
See? Let's bake.
Oh, let's bake. Okay, so it's the Bucks. That's fine.
Get it? It's like Let's Ride, Brandon. You know, there's a quarterback that made that famous. So
that's cool.
That's it.
I like how the Buccaneers were like, hey, Let's Ride was really successful. Let's try it with Baker and do bake. Let's lean into something that was unanimously loved last year.
Well, I think instead you go one different. I think that they should really start bringing celebrations back, like real celebrations, like with props. Like, so I think Baker Mayfield, like if he runs in for a touchdown, he gets oven mitts from the sideline and it's like pulling out like a pie or like a cookie sheet. And it's just like,
oh no, they need to have an actual oven at the back of the end zone.
Yes.
And its bake time is set to finish at the end of the fourth quarter. But they can only take out the pie if they win the game.
It gets burned if you lose.
Yeah. And if they lose, it keeps cooking, and then they have to eat the burnt, baked product. That's a motivator. Lose a football game, eat a shitty pie.
It's chalky.
This pie is terrible.
That, you know what? I can get behind that. I definitely can get behind that. You know what? I approve of that. Like, you know what? We give out all these fines and everything, but whatever. You know what, Brandon? Let me get your take on this.
That would have been better. That would
That's
have been
true.
better, Justin.
That's true. What was I going to say? Now I forgot. Oh, yeah. So Aaron Rodgers, you mentioned him before. Hi, Moosey. So you mentioned Aaron Rodgers before. I want to get your take as an outsider, non-Jet, non-Packer fan.
Sure.
Who do you think has the leverage? Because that's all anybody talked about last week.
I don't think either team has the leverage. I think Rodgers is like neutered both teams, essentially. Rodgers has the leverage. He's Gandalf, just holding that thing. And everybody's waiting for him to say whether or not they're going to be allowed to pass.
What?
You shall not pass.
What does that have to do with
that scepter, whatever the hell it was? Then he would
staff?
But he said, nope, you can pass, you be traded. There's no leverage. They're just like they're arguing over compensation. My analogies are on point. Don't even try to look too much into it.
I don't even understand what, but he's not even holding up the trade.
Wizard. And now, here's the thing. Okay. He's been Gandalf the Grey with the Packers. Now that dragon gonna murder his ass.
It's a Balrog. It's not a
The
dragon.
White.
It's a Balrog.
What? No, that's not a real thing.
It's a Balrog. It's not a. You just call it a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Not Smog. It's a Balrog. You casual.
And now Rodgers comes back as Gandalf the White for the Jets, and he's even better.
At least you got
comes riding that horse. Oh my God! It would have worked if he would have been a Bronco. He could have come riding in on the white horse. Instead, he's a Jet. I think both teams are just nitpicking over what they're going to give up.
If you're a blinker, cut your eyes off.
Because Rodgers is not going to another team, right?
Probably not. No.
I mean, the Packers could be super bitter and then do it because he doesn't have a no trade clause, right? Is that the weird caveat?
It's just like the Packers want to work with him, but technically the Packers could do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that would be. They're
not going to tank.
They call up the Houston Texans. They're like, look, give us the second overall pick. You can have Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I would respect the Packers for that move. That would be a ballsy move. They won't do it because they've given him lots of leeway.
You know, Brandon, because you called it a dragon, you're blocked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're blocked.
It's not a Schmiegel Schmuck. It's a
Schmiegel Schmuck?
What is it? What's it called? What is it? What is it?
A Balrog? You just called it a Schmiegel Schmuck?
My Balrog
Schmiegel
needs to go pee right now.
Precious. It's like, shut up, you schmuck. Like, that's not nice. Blocked. You're blocked.
I wish.
Anyway, to try and answer the question that we did the episode, because we're 48 minutes into this, do you think there's going to be any really big trades beside the Aaron Rodgers one?
If any happen, I think it's Lamar Jackson. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is a big trade because it's assumed he will be traded. I don't think the Broncos are moving any of the receivers because they haven't been able to get what they want in return. Maybe there's maybe Sutton, but maybe it's closer to the draft when shit gets a little more real. But Lamar, DeAndre Hopkins, the Broncos had listened to calls for receivers, but like we talked about at the beginning of the show, the receiver market's just a little weird right now.
Yeah.
Who is there anybody else on there that I'm missing?
For big trades that could happen?
Oh, I know they were.
So I think you listed all of them.
Just because I like listening to Led Zeppelin doesn't mean I'm going to study the lore of Lord of the Rings.
Why not?
I'm not going to read the books. I'm going to watch the movies like a
extended
dignified
edition.
man.
You probably don't even watch the extended edition. You probably
I have the box set extended edition.
Okay, so then you should know what a Balrog is.
We watched all 4 extended editions, or 3 extended
All
editions in
4?
one
Get
day.
the hell out of my house.
In one day in college, we did all 3 extended editions.
Well, apparently you must have been on drugs because
let me tell you, halfway through that 3rd one, we're like, okay, this is getting tough.
Well, yeah, it's over 9 hours of viewing.
It's like
Brandon.
doing jumping jacks to get the blood pumping.
That's a lot. So that makes.
Oh yeah, Eckler, Austin Eckler. That could.
Oh
be
yeah,
trade.
Eckler's another one. It's accurate. That is accurate. So it's still a Balrog though.
Weird name for a fire dragon.
So it's actually a demon.
Weird name for a demon. Why don't you just call it a demon, George?
Why? Your name's Brandon and you're a demon.
You know my favorite part about George R.R. Martin's Lord of the Rings?
Is when Dumbledore goes, "May the Force be with you."
I hate when Dumbledore saves Frodo from Fraggle Rock and then Khaleesi comes in and just kills him with their dragon anyway.
Yep. That's where we are.
You know what I didn't like about Game of Thrones was the incest between Gandalf and Dumbledore.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. One of these days, Brandon.
Ooh.
When I make my way out to Colorado, we'll listen to music and we'll watch Lord of the Rings and we'll watch Bo Burnham. And then Carmi will turn into a Bo Burnham fan. And Carmi will start making content and it'll go viral because she's going to start singing songs on a piano. Do you have like a piano toy thing? Like a keyboard?
Yeah,
maybe?
no, she's got a legit, like, it's like a baby grand piano, but it's like a baby.
Okay, perfect. So Carmi is just like, let's ride.
Boom.
Nailed it.
I swear to God, if she starts playing Nickelback songs, I'm going to be the first parent who takes away the musical instrument from their child. Never again, go play video games.
Carmi just starts singing and it's Chad Kroger's voice. You're just like, not in my house. This just became Footloose. My house is Footloose now.
Why do science fiction writers want to see incest, Tom?
I mean, incest happened a lot.
Fantasy writers like George Lucas has the
Luke
kiss,
and Leia?
has the kiss, and then why are all fantasy sci-fi guys named George as well?
I mean, so when you look at like fantasy, not sci-fi, I mean, a lot of it has incest in it because there's a ton of incest in actual history. Like,
and that's the part they want to focus on.
Well, I mean, like it was like keeping the bloodline pure and like the Habsburgs and all that. Do you know about the Habsburg chin?
Sounds like you're defending it.
I'm not defending incest.
I know.
No.
It sounded like you were.
We talked about this. Hold on. Have you seen the Habsburg chin?
No.
Like the Habsburg jaw? So like the Habsburgs were like this really, really powerful hold on. This like really powerful family like throughout history. And a lot of it was just like all incest. And so the last guy who's born of the Habsburg lineage, his face is like so deformed that he legit like has like this protruding jaw because they just keep on sleeping with one another. So
interesting.
Yeah, history is interesting.
No, it's actually quite frightening.
Frightening? Oh, 100%. Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. So
every time like you think like shit's bad, just read some history and you'll feel better about the state of affairs.
Or you'll see correlations. Be like, hey, I recognize that.
Well, you'll see some patterns in behavior, yeah, but like when we're sitting here streaming a show talking about Nickelback when we're supposed
and the Habsburg jaw,
and people are cool enough to just roll with whatever we're doing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, folks. Like, listen, free agency, I don't want to say it's a dud this year, but it definitely is not as good as last year. Last year, there was like trade on trade on trade on trade on trade, and then it hasn't happened. So Brad and I are just trying, okay? And you know what? Be grateful because we can't have GPS on Friday because Brandon is doing things.
Got to go to a weddings.
Going to a wedding?
Yeah, wedding.
Where's the wedding?
Palm Springs.
Okay, if you said New York, I would have drop kicked you like through the sun.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
You would.
Wait, you live in New York?
The wedding's like my next door neighbor, and you're just like, Tom, I just don't have the time. I'm sorry.
I thought you were right outside Lambeau.
Yep, that's me. Right outside Lambeau.
Mm.
So, all right, Brandon, what do you got coming out today, buddy? You got XFL?
Yeah, we got XFL, best and worst. Big upset this weekend, so I'm looking forward to doing this one. And then we got an Anthony Richardson vid coming out this week.
Where, like, he's an athlete.
Most interesting player in this year's draft.
Oh. When's
I
your
hope
name episode going to drop, Brandon?
Oh, yeah. I got to do that, too.
Who's got a funny name in the draft? I'm not going to know now.
I know. I've held on to that series so long, and every year it just does worse and worse.
Oh, I know.
But the people who like it more and more. It's a real...
I'm
What do they call that? A catch-22?
But what did you tell me when I asked for advice about something that I was doing for a very long time episodically, and you were just like, sometimes
You got to kill a baby?
that's what you said. I thought that was still a little violent, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey, as you say, history. History.
Yeah. What do you got, Tom?
Still is perfect. It's still perfect. It is.
Those are literally the back-to-back tweets.
Yeah.
Adam, nobody's bracket is nobody's has their bracket
The
alive.
best part is I was live on Q&A and like I was just listening to the comments, so I like the chat, so I was just literally just saying what they were saying to sound like I didn't even watch the game. I had no idea what happened. But people liked it and I was like, this is funny. So it was great. All right. Well, I'm gonna have a skit, I think, today, maybe a season reaction video. It's gonna be one or the other. I don't know. I haven't done my hair yet, so we'll see.
Well,
But it takes like 2 minutes.
Me Balrog
Would never
on
kill
Twitter
Coach.
now.
Ever. So, but anyway. Brett Coleman will be on the Pat McAfee show today. Go check out Brett Coleman. Because Brett Coleman's a great guy.
Yeah, well, Brett. Stay tuned for Brett. We should have Brett on Wednesday. See if Brett's available to come on here Wednesday.
We should. All
Mm.
right. Well, folks, thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandin Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you've reached your Balrog. Oh!